Welcome to episode 37 of the Making It podcast. Nearly kicked my chair over there. We are here for another week's podcast, and yes, it is a little bit late. It's been a bit of a mental week, and I apologise. That is my fault. I've moved out of my old house, and I'm now living in Gold Coast, so you can probably hear it. I'm in a different area. It's much busier. But Dan, welcome to the podcast. We are here 37 weeks of podcasting, brother, and we're here to discuss hopefully another good one for both of us. How have you been?
Yeah, good. It's been my last week before I go back to uni, so just been doing a few jobs, working in the pub, my few last shifts, and seeing people before I go back. So I'm really excited to be back in Newcastle. I'm excited to get back into the football coaching. We'll get onto that in the podcast, and yeah, you know what? I'm actually feeling really good. I feel like I've been surrounding myself with good people. Feel like I've been having good conversations. Feel like I've just been doing the right thing, really. So I'm feeling good. It's getting a bit nippier around here. I don't know if it's getting warmer where you are, but it's starting to get a little bit nippier. Is it getting warmer?
It's getting warmer, you can tell, because it's worth mentioning my friend actually flew out here on Friday, so we're 3 days in now. So I'm a different man, pretty much, Dan, is what I've got to tell you. And you can tell that it's sunny because Dex knows, bless him, it's the colour of tomatoes. So yeah, I've had to introduce him to this thing called zinc, which is a sun cream alternative that we have out here. So it's pretty useful, but he's pretty burnt. So yeah, it's a good indicator of how hot it's becoming now. It's calmed down a little bit now, though. To be fair, it's 4:30 in the afternoon, 4:45. So yeah, it's getting there now.
So we're starting to get colder, you're starting to get warmer. So that's the problem, man, with the reversing. We had our time, and now you're having yours. But
Yeah,
how are you,
Dex had
brother?
two
Because I know,
summers,
eh?
and Dex had 2 summers.
Yeah, lucky boy. But how are you anyway, mate? Because obviously, big things for you now. You moved out of the house you were living in, and now you're on your own adventure now with Deck, your best mate.
I can finally say how I feel, mate. I can actually finally say how I feel, and I'm not going to hold back, because the last 3 months has been the toughest 3 months of my life, without a shadow of a doubt. It has been hard to post an Instagram story without adding proper context behind things. You know, those good days at football, those nice nights by the beach, nice mornings by the beach, the nice walks, the nice things we do, just to take my mind off how bad of a household I was living in, to be honest. And not even for the actual property. Like, it's a beautiful house. You know, the 2 kids of my mum's friend, you know, were really nice kids and stuff. Obviously, it's tough because, you know, they're younger kids, and I felt that sometimes looking after them was tough. Being asked to discipline them in a verbal way was tough because I'm not their dad. You know, and it's put a lot of mental strain on me. So the last 3 months, I've not had the creative spark that I usually had. I've not had the motivation I usually have. I've not felt the connection with people I love as much. I've not reached out to people I should have more. You know, I've been really disconnected from everyone. I in my own mind, because of how this household been. In all honesty, it's very toxic. You know, and I don't wish to have any further relationship with the person who I was with, my mum's friend, because of how they were with me. You know, very hot and cold. I was blamed, I think, for a lot of, you know, frustrations that she had in her life. And I don't think it was fair. You know, I think that the common problem she had with me was that I didn't do enough around the house, when in reality it was that she's just trying to run me into the ground with stuff. So it is such a nice feeling to be out of a household that was just toxic and just not me. My values don't align with that person. My principles don't align with that person. And she's had my parents worried sick because I've just not been good. Bro, you can attest this as well. You can attest that I've been just not feeling the same. I've been crying out for Declan to get here sooner because it has been so difficult. And, you know, you might say, oh, it can't be that difficult. Look outside. It's like blue skies. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. But like I said to my mate Corin when we went to the beach one time, I'm like, your problems don't just go away when you have a nice blue sky and a beach, you know, and a bit of money to let you go out for a few dinners and a few nights out. It doesn't go away. Like, it just kicks the can down the road a bit. And you know, the whole kind of, I don't want it to be like I'm talking rubbish about someone, Dan, because that's not what it is. I'm just saying honestly how I feel, because this is the most open that I am about anything is on this podcast, because I honestly believe that I shouldn't have anything to hide, and that I should absolutely express how I feel, because that's what I'm encouraging others to do, and I think it's good and healthy for us to do that as people. But like I say, it's been really toxic. It's put me in some of my worst moments. Probably this time last week, I was on the bathroom floor, like just in bits, just crying, like, because I didn't feel trusted. I didn't feel like I was part of the family. I didn't feel like I was part of that household, and things started so well there, and then they just took a turn, and I became the issue. So I just feel like me moving out and now having Deck and being in this, even though it's a small little place before we moved to Sydney, me spending time with people at football and saying goodbye, it's been a very big week for me. And I honestly feel that had I had stayed there till November like I originally planned, I wouldn't have been able to stay in this country anymore. I think I would have had to come home, because I would not have been able to cope with it. The basic kind of treatment of her, the way she speaks to her kids and the way they speak back, is not a way I'd ever have dared to with my mum and my dad or whoever, my stepdad. I just didn't feel that it was a household that I wanted to be in, and nor was it a healthy one. So I'm incredibly grateful, incredibly lucky that I'm out, and I'm in a position where I've never felt so good. I rang my mum up the other day and she says, "You look way happier than you usually do." So I'm grateful for having a shelter. I'm grateful for having food, and I'm grateful for because it's not been the entirely bad experience. They've supported me, so I'm going to say thank you for that. But for making me feel like an outcast, making me feel like a child, treating me like a child, making me just feel not really worth much, I say good riddance. So it's tough, bro, because I'm a forgiving person, and I'm always speaking to you about these things. I'm a forgiving person, but there are some people in life we have to push away. We have to push them away. And I'm so grateful to have the support of my mum and my stepdad, who throughout this whole thing have tried to, support me, even 11,000 miles from home, who've tried to offer words of advice in times when it's really tough, and kept me calm when it's been really tough not to react, because it has served me well. So I'm out, bro, and I'm happy. I've spent a bit of money and not had the greatest time, but this is a learning curve, and I'm excited for a challenge in Sydney.
Yeah, brother. I mean, obviously, I knew this was happening the whole time, but for people who listen to the podcast, obviously, they've now had a chance to understand what your situation has been like in Australia. And look, like it's a very fresh situation right now. Obviously, right now you're not going to think it, but maybe one day it can all be sort of talked about. But that's obviously not the situation right now. And I think, look, like I've still managed to have conversations with you during the whole time, and yes, you haven't had your like you that you. We all know the Jamie energy. There's been times where you haven't had that through living there. And I know we've had conversations where it's not been easy for you. Um, but if you can, by any chance, and I know you do, look at some of the pots of gold you had when you were there. And I think the main thing really is that football coaching. I think, and that's the beauty of having things like that. Just imagine if you didn't have football coaching. Imagine if you didn't have music. I know how important music was for you during that
Massively.
time. And it's interesting because these moments, like what you went through, and I can't relate at all. I've never experienced that. But it's almost interesting because these sort of moments make us realize what mattered to us, because through those moments, we realize what brings us through. I mean, am I right in saying that was music and football coaching for you?
Absolutely. I've already said it, and I just want to say as well, like, I know that Matt sometimes listens, whether he does today or not, I don't know. Like, I just want to say how grateful I am to them, Mikey especially, for allowing me to just be with him, and and Matt for giving me the chance to coach for the team that he represents and that he runs on pre-academy basis and above. So grateful, because those guys, that football team, as stressful as it has been sometimes, and there was so many times I didn't want to referee, it was all worth it, and it kept me here. It absolutely kept me here, because without it, I have no idea how I'd be feeling. There was so much moving around with the other house. There was never certainty, and again, like I said to you in the pre-chat, any concern that Beck had with me, was never brought up with me. There was never a transparency. You know me, brother. If you've got a problem with me, I'd like you to say it face to face or ring me up. Do something about it, because you saying it over text, on Twitter, on, to your mates, it just doesn't do me any good. Like, if you think I genuinely need to improve on something. So, there's qualities there that I think that would have just helped and maybe calm things down and change things behavioural wise. But like I say, bro, it's, this experience was never going to be perfect. I did think it'd be a bit different to how it's been, but music as well, just because all I could do was ride the wave of how I felt and wait it out till Deck got here. And, as soon as Deck got here, bro, it was like, I didn't know what to do. Like, I just heard it on the train when I was going there. I was like, Brisbane Airport, stop in 10 minutes. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, he's 10 minutes away. Like, a week ago, he was 25 hours away. Now he's 10 minutes away, and then he's a minute away, and then I'm in front of him, and then he's got his headphones on in the airport. He doesn't even know I'm behind him and recording him, and making him jump. And like, life is just so drastically different. So it is crazy how a change of environment can change you as a person. And actually, this could kind of go on to maybe a general point to anyone. If you're in a household, or you're in a relationship, or you're in a friendship that is perhaps toxic, or the other person isn't reciprocating the love, the support, the foundation that you allow them to have from you, then you should reconsider it. Can you try and speak to them before you end it? Maybe, probably, yeah. But your environment is important, because it is what you are. You are a product of your environment, and you should absolutely take charge of the things that are affecting you. So, yeah, that's my advice.
Brother, I think, and I was speaking to your mum and stepdad about it. I think this experience you've had is going to make this next chapter so much better.
Yeah,
And as much as it was tough, I'm sure we've spoke about it before, like, across your whole year of Australia, like, it wasn't going to be paradise the whole time, and that's what you've come to realise.
we got a Dan sneezing. Let's go.
Just like people think, and I think it's such a massive thing, how people think that going and traveling is just like the most perfect scene ever. But like you say, your thoughts don't leave you. So I think this experience is going to make the next chapter so much better. And I'm so happy for you that you've now got Deck there. And I think this is where the adventure begins. You've had your football coaching, you've learned some lessons, and you've learned some experiences from how you were living. And now you've got Deck and you've got an adventure. So all the best with it. But these sort of moments, I mean, obviously we spoke about it on a previous episode with everything happening for a reason, and I'm sure there'll be meaning to this. And I think that's a good way to look at it. What can you take from these experiences? I know you do that. Now, let's move on to football coaching, because I feel like obviously I've been with Beeson over summer. You've had your Gold Coast. How are each other's football coaching journeys going right now? Obviously, you boys had a big game the other day, and you've had success. You've had success as well. And I know on a personal level, you've had success with your coaching. So let's start with you, brother. How is your football coaching journey going as of right now?
Amazing. It's the best it's been for understanding of the game, learning about the man management and what a youth football team really needs, and what's important from a youth football standpoint. I'm really, again, honoured to be To have worked with and spoke with Mikey at Gold Coast, because he's all about character development, and he always says that good people make good footballers, and that's what he wants to do. He wants to make good people, and I love that. That's such a great sentiment, a great way to think, and he believes that you should back your players and you should trust them at all times, in every situation, even in times when you think that they are going to struggle. Deep down, you've just got to trust them. So yeah, it's a good time for me. We lost yesterday, unfortunately, in the grand finals, which...
Stop right there. This is Daniel talking here, and I know right now you're enjoying the episode, but I've just got to give a really big shout out to something, and it's Making It Moments. That's where our guests are. That's where the people we bring on to talk about their journeys are. Go and listen to Making It Moments. Go find them on our Spotify and YouTube. Find clips on our socials. Making It Poddy, Making It Moments.
It stings. It hurts because we have the quality and everything to beat them, and they were down to 10 men, and perhaps if we'd taken a couple more chances, it would have been a very different result, and I would have been 1% happier. But I'm so proud and lucky to have been associated and to have worked with a group like that. A really, really good group of footballers, a really, really good group of kids, and in general, just a good group of people who will go and be good footballers, good people. Hopefully they stick around next year all together and play again, and yeah, so lucky. So this experience has definitely taught me that yes, the technical side, yes, the tactical side, all the stuff that we all love to see and we love to consume on the internet and talk about to our mates when we're talking about Football Manager and all this rubbish. But it's actually taught me the most important thing about how humans operate within football at a youth level, which is so important. And it's taught me so much that I can use going forward. So good for me, man. I've loved it and going to really miss it. But you're coming to the end of your Beeston FC stint, because I wouldn't say that you're going to leave and not do it again. I'd imagine you'd go back again, maybe. So I would just call it a stint for now, and you go back next, Christmas, right? Or something like that?
Yeah, so it's going to be a thing which I do now when I come back from uni. So if you do come back next May, then we could be doing it together next summer, which would be awesome.
Tyndall and Howard back.
Tyndall and Howard back. Both thought the same thing. Oh, if only we could have filmed that day when you came to Newcastle and we had that game, and you could have made a little documentary of that game. Me in the dressing room before the 3-2-1.
Oh God, that was horrendous. By the way, Dan.
Yeah,
there's one
never
thing
again. I never did it again.
Is that these kids do not want to put hands in the middle and do the 3-2-1 after the age of 11. So you getting 18 or 19-year-olds to do that, mate, was special. It was different.
Oh, but we live and we learn. But yeah, so I did my last training session with Beeson on Wednesday. Very rainy one at the hockey club. Had a drink with Ryan and Tom afterwards. Expressed my gratitude, and Tom bought me a drink, and we spoke about how the session went and how things have been. And it's been good because it's been one of them where obviously I've gone obviously before. I'm working with people my age and older and a bit younger, so the level is obviously higher at uni. But working with Beeston, just working with people of that age, under 14s, you just learn so much because there's so much going on. There's people at different rates. This is because they're not playing. What would you say to those kids? As you said, and we spoke about words matter on that episode. What you're saying with the man management, I think with kids that is so important because realistically, especially at a very young age, kids don't really understand tactics. And obviously at under 14s, some kids will, some kids won't. A lot of them just need to understand you. And they're actually trying to figure out themselves. They're trying to understand themselves. So having conversations with people of that age, and something that I found helped me was just visioning myself at that age and how I saw things just for a little bit, just to understand the position they're in. Because I feel like as we get older, we can forget that. And maybe that's something we can do a lot with younger people in our life, with siblings. Just remember that. Just how were you at that age? Because obviously we're a lot different at 20. But when we were 14, I mean, brother, I know what I was like at 14. Bit of a nutcase at times.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just how it goes. So you got to envision what you were like at that age, and it's been really special. I mean, it's just really nice how you can grow and connect with these people so quickly, and it's important to care about them and actually have an interest in them, and make sure they're getting on all right in all cases. And that's where I big up Tom. Tom's grown on me as a coach, and I've noticed that he has an impact on the lads off the pitch as well because his profession is being a teacher, so he's used to working with people that age, and I've heard him give some life lessons to them on the off football topic. So I think big up Tom for the opportunity, and obviously big up Ryan, and yeah, big up Ryan because he was the one that got me the opportunity. Same way with you, and things are on the up with Ryan, and I think. Ryan's a good bloke, and it's been nice to get to know him more. But with my uni coaching, obviously I've told you, but for the listeners on the podcast, so the internship I did last year, they're no longer running that. They're now doing placements, but the head of football has decided to move me to coaching staff, which is awesome. So I'm now part of the coaching staff at uni, which is really cool. I'm going to be taking on the eights this year, which is exciting. The lowest team, so starting from the bottom, and I'm really looking forward to it. This opportunity excites me all the time, and I can't wait to get back next week, talking to the coaches, talking about how I want to be this year and the things I want to do and what they want from me and what they want from the uni. So I'm looking forward to immersing myself back in that next week, and it's going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to being back in Newcastle, but what I will say is I've really enjoyed home, and like I've really enjoyed home because I know we've had conversations on the pod before about my relationship with home being not as good as I would have liked it to be, but that was a lot of the case to do with relationships and worrying about people at home who I may not get along with as much anymore. And some people who I worried about, I've ended up having conversations with over summer, and things are actually all right. So, and I think that's just the importance sometimes of having conversations. And I think a lot of the time, I know a lot of the time, the thing I stress about the most is my relationships, like what people maybe think of me. Are they still cool with me? Or how's our relationship going? Um, and I think it's just one of those things where, especially when you're at uni, when you're not seeing people all the time, you're not going to know. So just wait till you get home, and then wait till you actually see them, and just have a conversation, and you'll get the grass straight away from the off. So it's been nice that my relationship with home has got a lot better. And yeah, things are just good right now. I'm excited for Newcastle. But something which I kind of thought about a little bit this week was just letting things happen. And what I mean by that, and I'd be interested to see what your take is a little bit on this, is I feel like I know I spend a lot of time. You've got a plan for the day, right? It's interesting actually because something that happened with you and Ozzy kind of ties into this. You got a plan for the day, and it links to the spontaneity which we spoke about. And you've got tasks you want to do, and you've got things you want to do. But life is unpredictable, and things happen, like a bus being late, like you being stuck in traffic, like you falling off your bike and now you're injured for the day. You're written off. Like things happen, and I'm just noticing sometimes like you can't have full control over life. So have control over what you can control, and let the uncontrollables be. And obviously, with you, I remember that day when you had some tasks you wanted to do. You were going to that coffee shop, and then your mate came and took you, and you went walking through the rocks and through streams and stuff. So, letting things happen, I think sometimes that can be a good route to de-stressing us.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. Like, you've just got to enjoy life for the things you can't control in a way. Like, as tough as it is, it makes you as a person. Like it is your choice whether you let it make you or break you. That's such a cringy. I know it's like a cliched thing, but it's so true. All right, Dan. Yeah, that was a tough listen. But yeah, like you just got to enjoy the random things that happen, the random people you meet, the random people you bump into. Just enjoy it. And I know that despite the fact that yes, it's consumed a lot of money, and like I'm gonna have to be a bit tighter now. I'm moving to Sydney, and yes, it's taken 3 months of my life off me. That whole situation with my friend, it is over, and now the bitterness that created, just how sweet it's going to be now. to be out there and experience something new. And me and Dak are flat hunting right now, and we think we might have found somewhere. Yeah, we think we might have found somewhere in just 20 minutes from the city centre of Sydney, and it looks really nice. Separate rooms finally, because at the moment it's a granny flat, like one bed, a TV, and an air fryer in the bathroom. That is it. But just these moments, like, they really make you realise who your best mates are, and it's made me realise that other than you, Dan, I don't think that there's anyone else I'd rather spend my time with than Deck. Here, and that is as simple as it is. That's my best mate right there, and he's jet lagged like he's ruined. He said to me on the first night, we'll go out and have a mint time. He didn't, mate. He was in bed by 7:30. But like, it just makes you realise those times when you come out of a really bad moment and you need an uplift. You just know who's got you. You know what I mean? Like, and I've been lucky because especially after a post I put out on my Facebook, I had a lot of messages from people asking how I was and stuff, which is great. But like Deck, you, all these guys, great people in my life, calling me a few times a week, texting me pretty much every day. So grateful, man. So grateful. So I'm glad that I allowed life to be spontaneous and put you in my path, put Deck in my path, even though I thought Deck was a knob. And I probably thought you were a bit of a knob for a while, and you probably thought the same of me, and I wouldn't blame you. So I am so grateful for life, balancing things out, and putting things in the right order. Don't try and control those things, because it might just fall in favour of you, like it has for me.
Mate, I mean, before I get into what I'm going to say, mate, that brother right there is your bloody twin brother, mate.
Everyone keeps saying this. Like, even the guys are like, is he your twin or what? And I'm like, nah, he's not my twin. I put glasses on and they're like, yo, who's who? Yeah.
But yeah, brother, I mean, it's so true, because a lot of our stress can come from trying to control the things we can't control. And with toxic relationships, that's one of them. I mean, man, they're killers, because you can't actually do a lot of things about the way other people behave.
And do you know what hurts as well, bro? The fact that I had this image of how she was in January and February, and thought, she's a bit stressed, and things happen in the house, and she shouts and whatever, and it's like, it's a mum, single mum doing her best. Like, I've got so much respect for all the women and the single mums, single parents that are doing their thing, because like, that is not remotely what I'm frustrated at. Like, you guys are. My mum was a single mum for a couple of years, and like, she has done so much for me. And and I know that even Beck's kids have a very good life. But at the same time, it makes me upset thinking that I've spent this whole time thinking, wow, I can't wait to meet this person, spend time with the kids again, and spend time as a little family out in Australia, for it to kind of come crumbling down on me, and for me to be an issue. So it hurts that we don't have values that align in some respects, and that there isn't that same level of respect there. But again, bro, you can't control what other people think. You can't control the way they think, the way they act. That's on them. And you know what? I find complete comfort in knowing that they won't align with my principles and values, and they'll carry on and ignore everything that I'm saying right now. I find comfort in it. I'm happy. I'm out of that situation. I'm in a great place. Like, just got to love life, man. You just got to love it, and just be grateful when these moments of happiness come back, these moments of positivity come back, and you start to feel yourself again. I feel myself. I feel motivation to do things. I've had things overdue. I've had loads of stuff I've needed to do. I've just not done it. And now I feel like I'm back. So I'm back. That's all I'm saying. I'm back. And I'm never, ever going back to that place. And do not ever let your standard fall below what it is. Love yourself, man. And only have people around you that you trust and love, dearly.
Yes, brother, man. Speaking big facts, and shout out to Judy.
Yes.
Go and listen to that Making It Moments episode, because it's a special one. as we say every week, most committed listener to the podcast, and she was buzzing to come on. Well, she wasn't actually buzzing to come on. She was nervous about coming on, but I think overall she's very happy with the fact she's come on and got to speak about things, because for so long she's just been the comment in the Spotify comment section, but now she's been a guest. So go and check that episode out, because it's a very good episode. But Jamie, brother, very happy, man, that you've now got an adventure ahead of you, and I'm very excited to know what the future holds and what we're going to be hearing on this podcast from the weeks. And mate, at the end of the day, like, the fact, this podcast is, it's brought me and you together each week. It's brought you, the fact you've brought yourself to this podcast every week, through all that. I'm very grateful you've still been able to do that, and I'm very grateful that we've got a connection through this, and you've got a connection to this, and that connection has given you something as well through that period.
And bro, I just want to say thank you to you as well. Like, before I get onto that, I want to say, Judy, thank you, because, be more like Judy is something we've said for time. But be more like Judy. If you listen to this podcast, or you listen to 5 minutes, or you listen to a clip, let us know what you think, because this is genuinely how we are as people. If you've ever wanted to get an insight into me or Dan, which maybe you never have and you don't give a shit, and that's fair. That's fair enough. We're just two random people from Nottingham. But like, if you want to get an insight into us and maybe find out more about yourself, man, be more like Judy. Comment, speak to us. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to just help people, help people understand people and you, through our own experiences and stories as young 20-year-old guys. But Dan, I want to say thank you to you, because, there's been times where I've been difficult to deal with, difficult to get hold of, difficult to fucking, to do things, the interaction videos. I apologize. Like, I've been difficult. So I appreciate, you've been the rock of this podcast, bro, and you've done a hell of a lot to keep it all going. We wouldn't have this without you, brother. So thank you. Here's almost to a pretty much new start. And yeah, man, 2 things. Thank you, Dan. Be more like Judy, and love yourself, people. Love yourself. Don't settle for toxicity.
Thank you, brother. And it's the same thing. I mean, I know you can say that, but this podcast still doesn't run without you, bro. The Making It podcast is Dan and Jay and Dan. It's it don't run without either of us. So thank you very much, man. And I love this thing, man. I love this podcast that we got going on. And appreciate another great episode, brother. And thanks to the listener for listening today. And be more like Judy and drop a comment or get in contact, because it's important. But thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, guys. I think the police are coming to arrest me now, so I'll see you later. Only joking. No, thank you for listening. This is episode 37 of the Making It podcast. See you next Tuesday at 10 in the morning.
Feel so fine.